Hey guys, it's your girl Laura. Welcome back to Paper Crane Shop. I am in my store today here in my local mall, and today I'm going to tell you how we even got here and really how Paper Crane Shop even became a thing. If you're new here, my name is Laura, and together with my daughter Alicia, we run Paper Crane Shop. We're a stickers, stationery, and accessories store. We have a store in our local mall, and we also have a coffee bar where we do like iced and hot coffees, chais, lemonades, dirty sodas, Red Bull infusions, baked goods, and so much more. It's so crazy to me to think that we've now been in this store almost a year because we weren't looking to get a store. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. I was a corporate girly for years and years and years and years, and I was always kind of like a stationery addict. My daughter and I have always been crafters. We've always been like artists. We've always been like into that thing. A few years back, I got super fed up with like the 9 to 5 and just decided that that life just wasn't for me anymore. With all that extra time, we got even more into crafting, making our own custom stickers and things like that. Making our own custom stationery was also so fun. And I was out to lunch with a friend, and she like mentioned she had seen like some stickers on my laptop at the time, and she was like, oh my gosh, I love this sticker, I need one just like that. And I was like, oh, I'll make you one. She's like, you made this? And I was like, yeah. And like one thing led to another, and she was like, okay, I want, like, she literally sat there and picked on my laptop, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. And I was like, cool, I got you. And then I was driving home, and I thought to myself, I wonder if I could like do this as a business. I texted my daughter and I said, Alicia, do you want to start a stationery business with me? And she responded, absolutely, I do. And honestly, that's how Paper Crane Shop was born. So this was back in 2023. We started like in a fold out table in our living room. We bought a cutter and basically just decided to like go for it. It was and continues to be super hard for us to grow online. We've always been way more successful in person. I don't know what it is, because we weren't seeing any success like selling online. We just thought like, what if we went to a craft fair? So we did our first craft fair, I believe in December of that year. We did amazing. Like, we've never sold that much in a day, and we were just so excited. We put ourselves out there, and the craft community was so welcoming. They loved seeing that we were like 100% handmade. They loved seeing that we were like a family run business, a mother-daughter team, and like they really loved like our whole shtick. So that event gave us like a lot of confidence. It really let us know like, oh, we don't suck. Like, our designs are great and people love us. They just need to see us. So after that, we decided to sign up for as many craft shows as possible. I mean, we did some that were like in a corner of a bowling alley for a while, and we always did well. Because we were continuing to do well, we were excited and confident to try like new things, like not just stickers, not just stationery, but like growing into like magnetic bookmarks, coloring books, market planners, weekly planners, like all this stuff. And so as we grew, like we needed more space. And I'll be honest, it was my husband that was like, it's getting a little out of control here at the house and I don't like it. And so we were like, okay. We were just severely outgrowing our space. If you like scroll way back on our old TikToks, you would see that like we really started from nothing, girl. So we started to look really for like almost like a warehouse type space that we could work out of. We were already starting to like level up on our machines, the number of machines that we had. By this time, we were already like a 2-printer press. We invested in a more expensive cutter. We had like laminators and cutters of all kinds, like hand cutters, big ones that you have to like wind down to press. And we had like bookbinding stuff, like supplies all over the place. And then we still had like a lot of inventory too. We also found it really difficult to like pack up all of our things, go to a market, come home, and then have to unpack everything. At the same time, like my husband didn't just want like all of our stuff all over the place. So it was just really important to us to try to find a way to like have an actual designated workspace. There was a lot of things that we considered. I mean, for a while there, we were like, should we do like a she shed situation? Should we get a storage unit? Maybe we can find like a fancy one with AC and electricity that we can use. And we were really on the search like for several months. Around March of 2024, the mall that we're in now, they had like an indoor craft fair, and we did super well. Like, we've never done that well ever. We were so excited. And that was when we met like the mall staff here, like the higher ups, the leasing agent, the marketing director, they thought that our stuff was great and that our stuff would do great here. So it just felt a little bit more like, oh, maybe like this is like attainable for us. Now that being said, we were looking at these huge stores and we're like, there's no way we can do a huge store. But they did have a kiosk available and we decided to jump at that chance. Again, we weren't looking to have a store, we were looking to have a space. And as we were looking, we were just realizing like the expense was so high that we should really consider having one that could also work as a storefront so that the space itself also makes us money, because there's an opportunity there for people to come and shop. And so knowing that we had kind of already decided on that, and then having this opportunity at the mall just kind of happened at the same time, and it was an opportunity that we weren't looking for, but we decided to take when it was offered. So I met with the mall, decided like which kiosk I wanted because they had a few in the mall, and signed my paperwork like all within a matter of a few weeks. I'll never forget when Alicia and I just came to the mall like just to shop, and we were walking by that kiosk and they had updated it so it said like our store name. We were so excited. And so we ended up moving the last like week of May, and we did like a soft launch so that we could start setting up and seeing like how things kind of work, making sure that like our systems are up to date. We have everything that we need for our POS system to be able to take payments, all that good stuff. And then we had like our real launch, like our grand store opening, our little kiosk opening on June 1st. So after we had our grand opening, we were just making consistent sales every single day. It was so exciting. We did end up hiring our very first employees, some of which are still with us to this day. But the kiosk brought us a problem that we just didn't really foresee. Because it's a kiosk, there's no room for us to get anything done. Alicia could do her crochet while she was there, but there was no printing, no cutting, no nothing. So for several weeks there, I would like bring Alicia to the mall, she would run the kiosk, and then I would run home to make all the stuff that she was selling so that we could replace it so that our kiosk wasn't empty. And as you can imagine, that just really wasn't feasible. And with summertime upon us, like it was the busy season, like we were just selling so much. And our kiosk happened to be just right off this specific service entrance, where when I used the service entrance, I would also pass by like the mall office every day. So I was passing by that baby like 8 times a day. And I also want to point out that we live 20 minutes away from the mall. So that was a lot of driving for me, a lot of time, and it was a lot on Alicia's shoulders too, which thankfully we were able to offset a little bit by hiring staff. Even then, for like the longest time, Alicia was the only one tall enough to actually close the kiosk at night. So regardless of how many hours she always had to come and close. So again, just not realistic for like long term, but I already felt like, oh my gosh, I've signed like a year-long contract. We just need to make the best of what we can with what we've got. But then of course, one fateful day, I happened to run into the marketing director for the mall at that time, and she asked me, you know, how is it going? Like, she was the one that really was like, you gotta get in the mall, like you would be great here, blah blah blah. And I told her, I was like, we're doing great, we're making consistent sales, everybody seems to love us, like it's going great. And I just happened to decide to like be honest and upfront and a little bit vulnerable and say, you know, I wish that there was a way that we could make our stuff here. You know, hopefully one day we can grow to where we have a store, because this back and forth is killing me. I feel like my daughter, it like a lot is resting on her shoulders right now because she doesn't drive. So I'm the one that has to drive back and forth. And at the time, the mall did have like a few stores available, but they were all like 4,000 square feet and up, like way too big. The rent would have been too expensive for me. Like there was just no way of doing it. She sat there, she was like, well, I have an idea. And she was very clear. She was like, you know, I'm not in leasing. I have no power over this. I'm just letting you know, like something that happened to walk across my mind right now. And she said, we have these little outskirt little things of the mall, and they're almost like little offices. And so for example, one that we have one that's like an Allstate. And she said, we have one now that used to be like the National Guard, like recruiting station. They left like a few years ago, but seasonally we have like tax people come in and use that space as offices. And she said, you know, you could pitch to the mall to let you use the space as retail. And I was like, oh, say more, girl, say more. And she was like, you know, I am allowed to take a key and show you the space. I can do that, but you know, just know that it's not really a space that's for lease right now. Like, but it's something that you can pitch. And I was like, say less, show me the space. If I feel like we can make it work, then I will talk to the mall, like leasing people, and see what we can do. She showed me the space that same day. I looked at it and I just knew, like, I can work with this. If there's one thing about Paper Crane Shop, is that we have never ever had the means to do things right or perfectly or even in the most like aesthetic way, but we will work with what we've got and we will make the best of what we are given. So I saw the space, I ran to Alicia and I was like, this is an opportunity, like we should try to work for it. Like we made a pros and cons list, like pros, you know, less in driving, less in gas because I'm not going back and forth. Pros, we can make stuff in our store so that we are restocking as we're selling. Another pro, Alicia doesn't have to be the only closer because now we're closing doors instead of closing like a huge like kiosk. Another pro, like there's AC. Another pro, we had like a small break room with a little microwave and a sink, and that really helped us because we were like having trouble giving each other breaks so that we could eat when we were manning the kiosk. Now we could bring lunches, we can bring in a mini fridge, like all these things. So I bit the bullet. I went and I talked to mall management, which for me specifically, for our mall management is very nice here. The leasing agent is just an absolute doll. And I pitched it to her and she said, you know, this is like out of the usual, so I gotta go to the higher ups for this. And I said, absolutely, like I'm happy to talk to whoever, I'm happy to do whatever it is that I need. So they did ask me to like come up with a mock-up of what the store would look like, and I just did it. Like, let's just say it wasn't like something that an architecture would put together. It was not a viable blueprint. I just photoshopped and drew like using Procreate. Like I took pictures of the store and I put them in Procreate and I just drew like what I was gonna put where. Oh my gosh, and I just like color coded it. All the red stuff is where stickers are gonna go. All the pink stuff's where this is gonna go. Like looking back on it, like they were like, oh, she's trying. But they approved us, and after we'd been here for about a month or two, we were just like really getting like the book girlies in here, the chill girlies, the girlies that wanted to come in and have like a girly space to chill at. I think the pink couch had a lot to do with it. I think all of our pink decor had a lot to do with it. I think our general girly vibes had a lot to do with it. And we do have a lot of bookish type accessories here. A lot of the girlies were coming in and like sitting and like reading books. We were, for a while there, we had like college students that were coming in and doing homework, and it was just very like cozy vibes in here. Some girls that came in, and they would come in all the time, they would come in with their books and stuff like that, and they said, you know what would make this perfect? And I said, oh, an iced coffee. And I picked one up from like beside myself that I was hiding behind our checkout counter, and I went like that, and she was like, oh my gosh, yes. And it was one that I had made from home. She's like, what are you having right now? And I was like, I'm having a salted caramel latte. And she was like, yeah, you need to get that in here. And then it was just like, I don't want to say like the light bulb went off because obviously she gave me the idea. But then I was like, oh my gosh, we should so do that. So here I go, walking over to the mall again. I'm like, at this point, what's the worst thing they could say? No, like I've already asked them for a lot and they keep saying yes. Like, let's keep asking, you know? So I asked, I said, hey, I would love the opportunity to build a little coffee bar there and just kind of continue to build upon our brand. We've got the cozy girly vibes going on and we think that we would do well. And I'll never forget that the mall people looked at me and said, oh my gosh, we've been getting complaints for years that we don't have coffee available in the mall. And I was like, say less, girl, let's make this happen. And so we did. They approved my ideas. They, you know, there's always certain rules that you got to follow. They were like, you know, you can't be taking down walls or like affecting walls that are like adjacent to other stores, which is obvious. And of course I'm going to follow those rules, but we did it. We did like a plug and play system that's easily removable. Got the plumbers in here, did it all by code, got the health department in here, and we got our license and we started selling coffee. So that happened in October. So again, kiosk in May. We moved to this store in early July. I'll never forget because it was around my son's birthday and his birthday's July 8th. We got our permit for the coffee on September 30th. So that was September. We had a great holiday season here. Everybody loved us. And then at around January or February is when we stopped getting our cookies like made for us and brought it, like we were wholesaling them, and that's when we decided to make the cookies ourselves, and that's when Crane Cookies & Co. was born. So it has been like quite the journey. It's been a lot of changes, And right now it is Wednesday, May 28th, and in about a month we're moving again. We've just had so much growth, and we're moving to another store here in the mall. It's a much bigger store. It's also like, I feel like in a better location, and I'm happy to do a video about like pros and cons between this location and that location and why we've decided to move. But it's been just an absolute whirlwind. It's been an absolute roller coaster. It's exciting to see that Alicia and I are making our dreams come true. It's exciting to see that we continue to grow, we continue to receive more support, and we're excited to continue to grow like our product lines, our coffee bar, our baked goods, and all that stuff once we get into the new store. Yeah, that's how Paper Crane Shop started. It really started with a text, and we only grew to a store because we ran out of space in our home, and every space that we looked at was too expensive of a space for the space itself not to be generating any income for us. So then we started looking at storefronts and started off in a little kiosk. We were there for about 45-ish days. Moved here. We've been here less than a year. We're already moving again. It's been an absolute whirlwind, an absolute just an adventure really for our family, and we're so thankful to receive all the support that we've gotten so far. And I'm excited to see like what we will do in the new store and how much more we'll grow with the new year. Like, and I feel like every time I'm given an opportunity, I can like spread my wings more and more and fly higher and higher. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. I got here early, but I actually do need to open the store now, so I need to go. But don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Bye.